Hello everyone, I'm Chandler, the lead community developer of Historica, the educational trading card game. In today's tutorial video, we're going to be talking about the various card types found within the Historica game. This is our fourth tutorial video in our How to Play Historica tutorial series, so let's jump right in. In Historica, there are a great variety of different card types. They range from simple squad members, places, up to kind of mystical and magical, powerful word effects. Let's first talk about squad members and places, because those kind of build the fundamental structure and foundation of the game. As you've seen throughout the previous videos, we kind of been playing step by step, learning the game and playing out a turn against an imaginary opponent. Throughout the videos, we have played a settlement card, which is one of our places. We have played a squad member, which is a pilgrim. In addition to that, we have been using our sideline here, taken from the Advanced Independence starter deck. So let's take a look at that place card first. So the place card that I'm playing with today is the Settlement. The Settlement's been in play for quite some time now. So let's just break the card down now into pieces. So at the top of the card, you're going to see the name. And this is essentially just an indicator. It's a unique fact that describes the card. And essentially, you're going to be using the name to determine how many of those named cards can be in your deck. Remember, there's the rule of you can only have 3 of a kind. Place cards are in a landscape portrait style, so they're going to be kind of turned over on their sides. All of them will be found that way. You will also see on the settlement card that on the left-hand side, you will see a small circle with a number. With the settlement specifically, that number is 5. Whenever you see a number on a place card, it's going to refer to its occupancy. If there's a number above the name of the card and at the base of the card, that's going to refer to a place that has away occupancy and home occupancy. The occupancy that faces to your opponent, hence the top of the card, is going to be the away occupancy. Numbers that face you or closest to you at the bottom of the card are going to be your home occupancy. If a card has a number on the left-hand side, that is going to be referring to general occupancy. If a place card is not at full occupancy, we refer to that place card as having vacancy, as in vacant spots for squad members to jump right in and fill that. The unique thing about general occupancy is you just need to keep track of that number, and it's a shared total between you and your opponents for the number of squad members that can occupy that space. As an example, I could have 3 squad members on it, while my opponent has 2. If I were to move a squad member, go down to 2, one occupancy would open up, there'd only be 4 on there, shared between the 2 of us, and my opponent could play a squad member on that settlement. I'll show you right now an example of a place card that will actually have home and away occupancy. The one that we have here is planes. As you can see at the top of the card, there's the number 2 referring to the away occupancy, the number of squad members your opponent can play on that card. And close to you, close to home, is your home occupancy, and that's the number 2 and refers to how many squad members you can play on your card. Another thing about place cards is that they will always have a symbol of a globe. And that's just another quick way to identify the place cards from other cards, is just look for kind of in the bottom right-hand corner of that globe symbol, and it's going to be around the same area as the text box. So if the place card has any relevant text, as an example, the settlement card, as you can read, says all occupying pilgrims get 10 plus 10 inspiration. Essentially, that text just defines special properties that place may have. Above that text box can essentially be super types or subtypings of the place. As an example, we have water places, and here is an example of a water place. The last thing we need to talk about with places is historic places. As with following the historic rule, you can only have 1 copy of a given historic place card in your deck, and you can only have 1 copy of a historic place card in the field of play that you control. Your opponent can have the same historic place card, but they're also restricted to only having 1 copy in their deck and 1 copy in play. Finally, whenever you are playing the game with the useful playmat that we have here, there is only an allowed total of 6 places in play at any given time. There's a kind of more advanced special rule once you reach that 6 place limit that you can begin a process known as terraforming. But we'll cover that in some special rules in a later video. The next card type that we're going to be talking about are squad members. Just like place cards previously, squad members can also be historic. They follow all of the previous historic rules with an added condition. Historic squad members can actually only exist in your sideline. So that means in any given deck, you can only have a total of 5 historic squad members. Each of those squad members has to be unique, and they're always going to be kept outside of the deck within the sideline. So let's talk a little bit more about the card itself and break down the image. So at the top of the card, you're going to have the name. It's going to have a large banner that's going to be found within. At the top of the text box, you're going to see 2 kind of metallic, colorful discs. Those are going to be the charge cost. That's essentially how much charge that card costs to play. To the right of that, you'll see a profile image of a historic kind of figure. It's a silhouette. That's just referring to the card being a squad member card type. Below the charge cost is going to be any relevant text or abilities that the card has. With the example that we've been playing with previously throughout the previous videos, we have the Pilgrim in play, and it has an impact ability, allowing the card and you to search your deck for the card Pilgrim and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck and lose 10 player points. So it essentially allows you, to find more Pilgrims, get them in play, maybe play them on a settlement, and boost them up. The last thing that we need to talk about on the bottom right-hand corner of the card is the inspiration value. This value determines how much player points you would gain if you were to inspire with this squad member. Whenever a squad member enters the field of play, they're considered stunned and aren't currently alert enough to activate any of their abilities unless they have a special rule called immediate impact. This also means that a squad member that is stunned when it enters the field of play also can't inspire on the first turn that it's entered. The stunned condition is removed at the start of your first period. The last important little bit of detail about a squad member is it has an inspiration value. The inspiration value can go up if you give it add-ons. You can actually lose inspiration value through add-ons and word power effects. If the inspiration value of your squad member ever drops below 0, the squad member is considered wiped out and immediately removed from the field of play, placed into the discard pile. Like many other historic cards, you can always identify a card if it's historic or not by the red stamp within the name of the card at the top. So far we have place cards, we have squad member cards, we have historic cards. The next constant type card is going to be the add-on. Add-on cards are cards that are played on top of other cards. So whenever you do play an add-on card, it is added on to a specific squad member. The card is considered added to the squad member, so when the squad member swipes, so does the add-on. Add-ons can also add extra inspiration points and abilities to a squad member. If a squad member were to be wiped out, so too would the add-on card attached to it. In the Advanced Independence deck, you can actually find an add-on card called an Inkwell, displayed here. Inkwell is the name at the top of the card. You have the lovely image. Similar to squad member cards, you will find the charge cost at the top of the text box. To the right-hand side in the card type profile, you will see a plus sign indicating that is added on to squad members. And on the bottom right-hand card of some add-on cards, you will find a inspiration value. This is the inspiration value modifier. If this is added onto a squad member, that said squad member gains a number of inspiration points or inspiration value to the inspiring total whenever they do choose to inspire. Below the charge, you can find any relevant text that would modify the squad member in addition to whatever effects they may have. It could give them an added impact, it could give them a presence, or another ability. It is important to note that if you do have an add-on that gives an added impact, if you were to say impact with said squad member and it had its own unique impact, you do not get both of the effects of the add-on impact card and the impact effect of your squad member. You actually just have more of a choice between the two. You choose one or the other. Added abilities, however, whenever you use the card or impact with the card, inspire with the card, you would always get the added ability. It's kind of like a passive effect. It's not activated like an added impact. The final constant type card is probably one of the most unique types of cards. They're referred to as essences. Essences are unique for they do not take up occupancy. So when you play an essence card, it essentially is just placed off to the side. If you're using our handy playmat, we have an essence slot specifically here. You can have multiple essences in your deck. They're not limited. If they are historic, you of course can only have one copy of said essence in your deck. And you can have multiple essences in play at any given time. But it is to be noted that you can only activate one essence per turn. And they can only be activated on your turn unless said otherwise. At the top of the card, you can see the name of the essence card and whether or not they are historic. In the Advanced Independence deck, we would, as an example, have the Headless Horseman card. Similar to all of the other cards that we have found before, at the top of the text box is going to be its charge cost. To the right-hand side, we're going to see a monstrous silhouette. This describes that this card is of an essence type. Below the charge cost is going to be the activated effects of the essence card. And you're going to notice for most essence cards, there's going to be a circle with a number. Whenever an essence card is activated, you're going to be rolling a d6, and it's going to generate a random value for that essence card. Essence cards are usually balanced in a way in which they have one or two powerful effects that benefit you, and one extremely detrimental effect. Some cards are able to sneak by without having a detrimental effect, but most of them do. At the bottom left-hand corner of an essence card, you're going to find the lore number. These numbers are usually greater than the numbers found throughout squad members of Historica. You need to keep track of this lore number, as your opponent at any time, whenever they inspire with a squad member, they can choose to allocate those inspiration points to the lore number of an essence card. This will immediately drop the essence card's lore number by the amount that was generated in the inspiring effect. And you need to keep track of this, as when the lore number of the essence card drops to 0, it is wiped out. After the Fable Essence, there is another unique type of constant card. These are event cards, and are referred to being as timed constants. So they exist in the field of play temporarily until they're removed by their own intrinsic effects or properties. Event cards are put into play scheduled to be activated when a day counter is removed. Remember, during your first period, you do remove a day counter from each event in play. Each of you can have one event in play, and it fills your event slot. Whenever a day counter is removed from an event card, the effect found within the text box is activated for the remainder of the turn. When no more day counters can be removed from the event card is wiped out. And similar to the formatting on all Historica cards, at the top you're going to find the name. In this example, and found within the Advanced Independence deck, is Aurora Borealis, with a lovely image of the Northern Lights. Some event cards won't have a charge cost, and that essentially means that they can be played for free, meaning that they can be tremendously useful at accelerating and pushing the game forward. On the right-hand side is going to be the symbol, referring to the event card type. It's going to be a sun and moon. And the number within that symbol represents how many day counters the event enters the field to play with. The text box reads, for Aurora Borealis, all players gain 100 player points. Now for the only non-constant card type in the game. These are referred to as word powers and are one-time effects. Word powers may be played by any player during any period if they have opportunity to play those cards. Word powers do not remain in the field of play and are wiped out once resolved. In the Advanced Independent Starter deck, we can actually find the card Celestial. Celestial, at the top, is the name of the card, and it has a picture of a galaxy and stars above. The charge cost of the card is 2, found at the top of the text box. And to the right-hand side, in the profile image of the card, it's going to be of a quill. That refers to the card type Word Power. With the conclusion of that Word Power card, that just about wraps up our video. Thank you guys for watching, and tune in next time for the next video, where we are going to talk about a little bit more of the technical and the advanced properties found within the game. See you next time, and have a wonderful day.